Hey, happy Saturday. This is Minding Your Business with the Lancaster Chamber of Commerce. I'm Chris Spiker of Antelope Valley Florist. Kenneth Guzman, board operator, thank you.
Yep.
Hey, happy anniversary, Aaron Goldstein.
Happy anniversary.
1 year on the radio.
1 year and many more to come.
That's the plan. Goldstein Digital. Hey, who's our first guest today?
Our first guest today is Mike Massari from Insurance Associates.
Hey, welcome, Mike.
How's it going?
Very good. So you're an account executive over there?
Yeah, before we go on, thanks for having me on. I'm really looking forward to doing this. But yeah, account executive just started back in April.
Wow. And you and I met at a Chamber of Commerce event this last week, and you were with Heather.
Yep.
And what did you say?
I actually, coincidentally, I met you, watched one of these videos here on YouTube, just strolling around looking at some stuff, and then just boom, there you were the next day. And Heather told me she interviewed with you, and then right away, I don't feel like we even had a minute of conversation, and you were already asking me to be here, and I was really excited to do this, so I jumped all over it.
Well, you're a great story. I mean, the Massari name has been around for a while.
Thanks. I'm just privileged to be associated with that.
Yeah. And so you're in your mid-20s?
Yeah, I'm just turned 26 back in August.
Very good.
Yeah.
And so why were you watching videos? How did you discover us?
I was actually doing some research on some of the other members in the chamber, and I was doing it with my dad, who owns the agency that I work at, and a video popped up, and he just said, "Oh, this is Chris Spiker," and then he's like, "I know this guy," and he's like, "Come watch this," and we just watched it for a second, and I also am doing a podcast, and so I'm fascinated with this type of work, so it stuck in my mind. I remembered it, I remembered you, and that's just kind of how it came up, and it seemed like I was meant to be here for some reason.
You were meant to be here. It's an amazing story. So tell me a little bit about podcast. Would that help this show grow or reach more people or tell a better story?
I think the best part about a podcast and why it's so big in this day and age is because it's on demand, and we live in an on-demand society, especially the younger people growing up who have grown up with so much technology by their side. I think a podcast isn't something that somebody should put all their eggs in their basket for, but it's one of those things where it's got to be a part of your game. That way you can give that on-demand action to the people who may be just too busy in this world to catch you when you're live.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of video.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you've got all the facets going on, and podcasts, like I said, it's part of the game. For me, the podcast is, my situation's a little bit different than most people who are podcasting per se, but I've learned a lot about it since I just started doing that not even a couple months ago.
And you said the podcast is going to be about fantasy sports?
It's about fantasy football.
Gotcha.
My brother is actually a producer. He produces music, and he has his own studio at his house, so I've been playing fantasy football for a few years. There's a lot of fantasy football podcasts out there. What we do is a little bit different. We're not an everyday show. We don't have the time or the money to be doing that. It's more of a thing that we're doing just for fun. But once a week, my brother and I will get together. I'll go down to his place in Pasadena. He's got a studio all set up, and we talk fantasy football, but as a reference point, we use our league that we're in with 12 guys as a reference point for how to start talking about conversations and bringing up debates. And we don't necessarily do the ho-hum talk about which guy you should start and who are the best guys to pick up on your team are. We talk about the culture of a fantasy football league. We talk about different ideas, different controversies that go down in our league. And we hope that the small group of people that are listening to us right now are entertained by the fact that we're bringing up things that they don't hear from the everyday analysis. We give you a little bit different perspective, and we make the show entertaining by providing music in the backdrop. We do it for free, so we're also worried about copyright stuff too. But we're not really doing it to try to make money. We're doing it for fun.
Someone's going to discover you.
I hope.
Maybe.
I hope.
Yeah. And in real life, you're a coach over at AV High.
Yeah, that's like one of the 3 things I'm doing right now, and that one's special to me too, because I just started doing that with my best friend. Played baseball at Quartz Hill a few years ago with Brandon Van Dam. The Van Dams are a name in this valley, and a lot of people know Brandon. We both graduated from Quartz Hill, went on to play some college baseball, went our own ways to go to college, but we actually moved back to this town around the same time. The opportunity rolled to him to be the head coach. I was able to go in and be his assistant coach, and we really we feel like we're doing something special over there too, because those kids at AV, they've had historically not a competitive baseball team the last few years, and
They made a commercial with the helpful Honda guys.
they did for the soccer team.
Soccer team.
Yeah, we noticed that. Yeah, I saw that too. We hope we can get some recognition like them.
We're so close to Los Angeles, so I think that, a crew can get in a car and be out here in an hour.
Yeah. Well, if they're not filming some Lake LA road for a car commercial, they at least could get some people in there.
We'll definitely put a Joshua tree in the next video.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So why did you move back to the Antelope Valley?
I think like everybody, when you go and you leave for college, or for whatever reason, your plan isn't to come back. No one has that plan. After I was getting closer to being done playing, college baseball, graduating, I was thinking, what am I going to really do? And I didn't want to come back and work for my dad like I'm doing right now. I mean, this was an opportunity that I always knew would be there, but it wasn't the thing I wanted to come do. So I came back. I actually worked at In Shape Health Clubs. It just was an opportunity that I had to work there. I didn't know I was going to be there I was there for almost 3 years, and it just was some way for me to get paid. Came back. It was a good opportunity. In Shape Health Clubs taught me a lot. I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now without the experience I got from there. And I just stuck around. I didn't go anywhere. Housing's cheaper out here. I've started to realize that it's a lot easier to get involved in the business community in a town like this.
It's a small fishbowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I mean, I want to eventually get out of here, but being here was the right place and the right time for me. And although it was, it's not what it was on top of my list, but you look back and everything's meant for a reason, and a lot of people are finding success in this valley.
You're going to live a long time. You can have many episodes.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school?
University of Redlands. I went there and graduated high school in 2008, graduated from U of R in 2012, and I also did some education at Cal State San Bernardino.
What'd you study?
I majored in graphic design, so I'm not doing anything with that right now, but it taught me a lot still.
You have a certificate, though.
I
You
do
have
have
a
a
diploma.
degree. I have a degree, yeah.
That's what you need.
That's what I kind of thought about. It's not that I wanted to just do something for whatever reason. I found value in it. There's still value in that degree. I think there's an art to business, and people need to see that. And there's also a business to art. And so understanding that really helped me integrate myself into a more traditional business type setting or a sales type setting.
And you went to the chamber lunch.
Yeah.
You meet people.
Yeah. Been doing that.
Oh, good.
Yeah. All of them. And every single one in this town I feel like I'm a member of now.
Aaron and I have been to quite a few.
Yeah. Seen you guys around before. Actually met you. So I'm shy.
Yeah, you got to go up and say hello, and you got a stack of business cards. Back to football for a second.
Yeah.
Todd Davis, the
Yep.
local man who is on the Denver Broncos, he went. He wasn't recruited, and so the school he went to up north,
Sac State, right?
Sac State. He was over in the Bay Area, and someone over at one of those schools said, "Well, we don't recruit the Antelope Valley. There's nothing there."
Yeah.
So you got to put us on the map.
Yeah.
We're on the map.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, though, and you bring up people like Todd Davis and what young athletes, football, baseball, whatever it is, need to understand is that Todd Davis didn't make it because of where he was from or what school he went to. To make it into the NFL or to reach the major leagues or NBA, whatever you want, PGA Tour, there's an unreal amount of work ethic that goes into that people just don't understand, that can't even be explained. And on top of that, there also has to be the talent there. So although Todd Davis, I've never met him personally, he came to InShape one time and I got him a guest pass while he was here, but this was before I think he was a starter for the Broncos. He was just on the team. You see people like that and you look in their eyes and you can just tell that they're on a mission. And whether that is what motivates them to make a decision to get out of this valley, to go somewhere to expose themselves, or whether it's that work ethic that comes from that, that's what I think about when I think of guys like Todd Davis. And if you watched the World Series last night, there's a couple guys who pitched for schools in Santa Clarita that I didn't know personally, but I knew who they were. And you know those guys all had their own different routes to go, but the one thing that's in common for athletes that we try to teach, especially at AV with these kids who haven't had maybe the most coaching in the world, that it just, if you should always be doubting how hard you're working, because if you continue to question if I need to do more, you will always find a way to do more and find more, and you've already passed the limit you need to be at. But So anyway, to make a long story short, yeah, Todd Davis.
Sounds like you're the right one to be involved at the high school level, because they all think they're going to be rock stars or professional athletes.
At Quartz Hill, that's what it was like. We all thought we would be in the major leagues by now. But at AV, it's a little bit different because those kids have a lack of confidence. That's the one thing that we're trying to get these kids to do, is to actually think that they're good enough to play in the major leagues. At Quartz Hill, you almost wish that we understood that we weren't good enough. But for these kids, it's a whole different ballgame. They go into games and they feel like they lost by the time they get off the bus. So we're trying to change that culture there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you won't be bored, will you?
No. I've got a lot going on now.
Big task ahead of you.
Insurance, podcasts, that'll be done when football's over. Baseball, I mean, that's in the spring, so I'll be mixing everything in.
Well, now's the time to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
You got 1 minute. Tell me about Insurance Associates.
Yeah, probably the most important thing, since that's where I'm going to be making my money.
That's what pays the bills.
Insurance Associates, we're an independent agency that's been around for about 80 years. It's become VINSA after 1968. We do commercial insurance, personal, home, auto. There's also life and benefits and things that go on in there. I focus in the commercial department with Heather. We have clients such as the City of Palmdale, Lancaster School District, City of Lancaster, Palmdale School District, most of the school districts out here. I mean, the work that we do is really good. What makes our agency better than everybody else is the staff there. If you're shopping in town for a broker, don't just go off of the broker. Don't just go off of what you read on Yelp. Do the full background check. Get to know the staff. That's what makes our situation at Insurance Associates better than everybody else out here, is that you're going to get the most efficient and trustworthy help. And that's what I've learned by working there. The support in the office is great. We know what we're doing over there, and our clients obviously reflect that with the clientele that we have and the size of the clients. But we also don't just build it off of big clients. We've got tons of small businesses out there. And yeah, I mean, we're in a good spot over there.
Well, I can tell at your place that every customer is important. Every client is important.
Yeah, that's what I've learned from working at InShape, handling one-on-one personal people who are just working out at a health club, to dealing with clients who own businesses. And so you have to have finesse.
Mike Massari, Insurance Associates, thank you for being a Lancaster Chamber member.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
You bet.